the Braves, and a save there, and they score! So here's Lassiter with a shot, and he scores! So he drives it, walking in, he shoots and scores! Mustangs draw first one. Teresic gets a shot and scores! 4-4. Lachlan going to the net, shoots, and he scores!
And towards Cox, Cox gets a shot away, Davis makes the save. No, it's in! It's in! First over the lead!
Live from O'Brien Group Arena in Melbourne, this is AIHL TV. The regular season is brought to you by Air Canada, who offer the only daily and non-stop service to Vancouver. For details, visit aircanada.com.au. Owners are a direct infrastructure investor with a portfolio worth in excess of $50 billion. ATC Productions, your live event technical provider. And APA Group, delivering Australia's energy.
Welcome to O'Brien Icehouse for the second Melbourne Derby of 2019. It is the Melbourne Mustangs hosting the Melbourne Ice on a cold and wet Melbourne day. The Mustangs, a win tonight will help them cement their spot in the top four. They're travelling very nicely at the moment. Well, for Melbourne Ice, it's the complete opposite. They are really struggling at the moment with only one win on the board, which was their opening game of the season. They are desperate for wins. They're even now probably, we're not talking finals at the moment for Melbourne Ice. A win today and a win on Saturday, tomorrow's game, might just change that a little bit, but it's a crunch game, and with Melbourne derbies, something always happens. That's one thing about these games between these two sides. It's never dull. There's a lot of edge to these contests between these two sides. It's one of the big rivalries in the Australian Ice Hockey League. It's not just for bragging rights of Melbourne, but I think these sides generally do get up for these games, and being a feature game on Friday night, even more so. So, yeah, Michael Clough joining you today, and I'm about to be joined in the commentary box once he whacks the headset on by Rod Johns, and get his thoughts on what he's feeling about for today's game. So now we've got Rod joining us. So, Rod.
Yo.
Your thoughts on today's game? You looking forward to this one?
You bet you, man. This will be a great one. I love the derbies. At the end of the day, the derbies are what bring the people to the rink. How's that?
Yeah, they're expecting not too many seats left, the last I heard for this one. The first game was an absolute sellout, and this one hopefully will be much the same.
Well, I was told that the building sold out a couple days ago, so I'm not surprised, mate. Like I said, whenever these two teams play, it's on for young and old. And the good thing about it is that it doesn't matter where they are in the standings. They all come out and forget about the fact that they're in first place, playing fifth place or whatever,
yep.
And they just have a go at each other. You know what I mean? And usually the games are value for money.
Yeah, we just put a little bit extra red cordial for Liam Webster and Jamie Burke.
Yeah, well, that's right. And so I mean, like I try to tell people that there's no love lost, and you get a good game out of it. And I think that it's not very often where the tables are turned, and this time I think the tables are turned a little bit. So I'll be very interested to see how Melbourne Ice comes about and approaches this game, because they probably look a lot at the Mustangs as their younger brother,
yep.
And they'll want to put him back in their box, and the Mustangs will want to make sure that they don't give him that opportunity.
Well, this is probably the first time we're coming into a derby throughout the history where the Mustangs are clearly flying. They're looking really good. Yeah. Melbourne Ice really did. And even last year, because the Mustangs didn't really start flying till the end.
That's correct.
And qualified for the finals, last weekend or second last weekend of this season?
Yeah, that's right. They went right down to the wire. So, and I mean, they've done that the last couple of years too. So you're right. It's a bit of an interesting affair, and it's not the usual that the tables are turned.
And now we'll just go to centre ice for the pre-game presentation.
Tonight, so make sure you remain in your seats as the first period draws to a close. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to perform the puck drop for tonight's game, Sean Stevenson from Participation and Sector Development at Sport and Recreation Victoria. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and remove all headwear as the national anthem is played.
So that's the end of the pre-game formalities for the second derby of 2019 here at the O'Brien Icehouse. Mustangs hosting Ice, and just looking at the starting goaltenders for the two sides tonight, it's pretty predictable. Sebastian Anderson starting for the Melbourne Ice, the import from Sweden, played with Adelaide last year. And Jaden Pine Murphy has started every game for the Mustangs so far this season, and he has seriously justified his move from one dressing room to another.
Well, isn't it interesting that he's come across to the Mustangs, and I think he's played pretty solidly for the time that he's been here, and all you have to do is look at the stats and you can work that out. So I think it's been good for him, and it's been good for the Mustangs.
Oh, it absolutely has. I think he's playing as good as he ever has, and it's about opportunity, and he's got it at the Mustangs.
For sure. And you know what? You win a couple, you get a bit of confidence, and that just keeps on rolling. So that's a very positive thing.
And Sebastian Anderson hasn't got a win on the board so far since making his Melbourne Ice debut. The only win for the Ice, James Downey had it in the first game of the season. So he'll be looking to get a win on the board as well, on a personal level. He's
an interesting goalie, though, because I can remember last year when Adelaide came here and they got thrashed and everyone wrote him off. And I said, you want to watch this guy because he actually isn't bad, and he got progressively better. And unfortunately, Adelaide didn't have enough depth to support him. But he's got talent, and once again, if Melbourne Ice come out and play like they can play and support him, and he gets a good game, he gets a bit of confidence, and he can get on a roll too. So, well,
he is a good goaltender. You mentioned that the games basically when he debuted here last year. So Friday Night Hockey is back for the second Melbourne Derby 2019. Just use the hashtag AIHL Game Day to get your tweets on the screen. We always love the feedback. I know you certainly do, Rod.
I'm waiting for my girlfriend from San Jose to send another tweet.
So Mustangs win the opening face-off. Webster will go back and retrieve the puck. The Carpenter, Petrosky. In his second game in Melbourne Ice colours. Petrosky gets it back, so J.M. Petrosky, the little back pass is a good setup, and it's a goal of the Melbourne Ice. Kulcheski scores. First blood to the ice.
Well, and so there you go. So at the end of the day, like I said, I have every reason to believe that they would come out flying, and they certainly did. So if I'm the coach for Melbourne Ice, I'd be pretty happy because they took the puck and they took it right to the Mustangs from the drop of the puck. That was a good setup, a 2-on-1. Mustangs need to tighten up and make sure that they don't give that away again.
But just the byplay between the two imports, I really enjoyed that. They just cut through the Mustangs' defence.
Yep.
But that's Kulcheski's second goal of the season from 5 games so far. Now, how will the Mustangs respond? So Bright to Vadim Vyasov. Just work his way through the Melbourne Ice defenders to Isaacson. He's corralled along the half wall. Little backhand attempt, nice setup for the Mustangs. But Owens couldn't finish it off. Now Flanagan for the Ice. We'll send that one into the corner. We have a scrum. Graham wins out. And it's just kept in by McMahon. Here's a chance for the Mustangs. Yassel couldn't get a clean shot away. I think that may have been blocked by a defender on the way through. So Bright hasn't got enough of that one. So Isaacson looking for Owens. Shot was high. Now Parker Thomas. And the Ice are able to clear. So slow movement of the puck out of the zone there by the Mustangs, and that will be icing, and that was a bit of a nothing play.
But that was very interesting too, because you could see that the Mustangs had it all over ice in their own end, and they're very fortunate. Melbourne Ice are very fortunate that the Mustangs didn't capitalize on that and score a goal. So that line is the line to watch. They've got an awful lot of depth, and if Melbourne Ice aren't careful, they're going to wish that they played a better game.
So Parker Thomas, outlet pass finds Anderson to Apps. So Apps protecting the puck. Anderson will get it back. Back to the blue line, kept in. Puck spills free and the Ice should be able to clear. Anderson will concede some territory. Shot comes in, that shot was wide. Flack for the Mustangs. Gets out towards Apps. Now Anderson to Thomas, to Jackson Lane. Anderson will get back along the half wall. Lining up there is Thomas, saved by Anderson. For Thomas, Parker Thomas gets it from Lane. Forced to retreat. Leaves it for Jones. He goes out wide. To McDowell looking for Jones. The Carpenter in front of Jones. Burke's there in support for the Mustangs. Just kicked away by Carpenter. So the Mustangs in control of the puck. Backhanded shot was wide. Well wide of Anderson's crease. But the Melbourne Ice are yet to clear the zone. They're making very hard work of this at the moment.
Yep, they need to get it together. They're playing pretty scrappy. Mustangs have it all over them in their own end.
Seems to be very much a neutral zone battle. Apart from that first goal, it's a lot of the action seems to be around the neutral zone, and then sides just clogging up the respective end zones. So now the Ice have it. So Armstrong, Petrosky, he was stood up by Robinson. Robinson will get it back. Sees a bit of time and space to play with. Pass out wide towards Burke. Gets a shot away, but Anderson read that one and made the save.
If Melbourne Ice want to win this game, they're going to have to watch people like Jamie Burke in that, because you leave Mr. Burke alone, he's got one of the better shots going. Simone Woodbine. Love Friday night games. Watch it from Perth while enjoying a beer. Let's go, Melbourne Ice. What beer are you drinking?
Probably Emu.
Yeah, well.
Wouldn't recommend it. Apparently it's not that great shot. There's a reason why Emu stays in WA. But you know, hockey over dinner's pretty good. I like that idea.
Drinking a boutique beer, you know.
Could well be. Oh, some good beers coming out of Perth. Yeah, was it Little Creatures, a Perth brewery?
There you go.
And we've got Word Colonial Brewing Company. Apparently is even better. So there you go. So McMahon. So Chris Wong sends that one into the corner. So they're cleared by the Mustangs, but only as far as Flanagan. And that will be an icing call, so over face it will go all the way to the other side of the rink.
Well, like I said, the line that's coming off is the line that if I was the Melbourne Ice's coach, I'd be the most afraid of or more respectful of at the moment. They've got a lot of depth, and I'm waiting to see what happens when Isaacson and Mr. Owens work each other out.
So Lane fires, shoots, and Anderson makes a save. What's his name? Jordan Lane. Your new import.
Jordan Owens.
Jordan Owens. So I've got a bit of a mind blank there. But I didn't get to see too much of him last week against Newcastle losses. What's he like as a player?
I think that he certainly has the skill set, but I think he's trying to get his feet. He's trying to get used to the players that he's playing with. So he needs to get acclimatized to what's happening, and I don't think that's quite happened yet. But when it does, it'll be very interesting to see how he goes with, like I said, Mr. Isaacson. And Vladimir Jasov's having a great season so far. So if the three of them can interconnect properly, they'll certainly be a line with an awful lot of firepower.
And this is a weekend to do it in many ways. You've got the big game derby. You've got Adelaide this week as well. So Lane will skate back. Thomas. Dabs that towards Burke. Burke give it a bit of space. He's forced out wide. That was a good play by the Mustangs. Some of their best interplay so far in the game. So Jones also concede some territory. Melbourne Ice uses the chance to make the line change. Joyce to Lundgren. Over skating, it was Armstrong. Thurston will go back. Now Graham to Petrosky. It just concedes the territory to go back towards Todd Graham. Now Matt Armstrong flips it up. It was a nice looking play, but in the end didn't really work out too much. So Kulcheski fires, and it's in, it's got the tip. So Melbourne Ice take a 2-0 lead.
Well. So, my friend, if Mr. White was here, he'd give me the inside tip on the gentleman like Mr. Petrovsky. What can you tell me about him?
Well, he's a graduate of Yale.
Yeah.
So he's played his
a
hockey
smart
there.
dude?
I would assume so. Grows much more hair than I do. That's what made me jealous. But in fact, that's no, it's gone off Erzin. So it's actually Kulcheski will get his second. Unfortunately, a few years ago, that would have been good for Andrew Erzin that Melbourne Ice scored, but not so much on this occasion.
Not so much tonight. Interestingly enough, last weekend, the same sort of thing happened on the second goal against the North Stars. It was redirected into the net. And unfortunately, Jaden Pine Murphy didn't stand a chance on it.
Well, goaltenders, deflections like that, whether it comes from a teammate or an opponent, are very difficult to stop.
Yeah.
So now Owens. The Mustangs clear the zone. So McMahon going to the top of the crease. So Vadim Vyasov to Isaacson. Isaacson to Owens. Just couldn't get a pass away, and the Melbourne Ice are able to clear. And it looks like it's going to be a icing call, and the puck will go all the way down the other side, and we'll have another face-off.
Oh, I can hardly wait for this one. It's 2:30 a.m. in San Jose, and that means it's Australian hockey time. Let's see if the Mustangs can pull a win tonight for all of us night owls out here. And
something.
So there you go. Back again from San Jose. What more could a guy ask for?
You ask and you shall receive.
Excellent,
Rod.
Matt. And I just want to thank our producers for being on the ball.
Now all we need is Anders to chip in.
That's right.
So, shot there by Thomas. Shot was a little high. And Lane will go back and retrieve the puck. Looking at his option now along the half wall. So Thomas stripped to the puck, kept in there by Lazzarotto. McDowell goes out wide. Thomas will flip it up high, looking for McDowell. In the end, made contact with it. And an awkward bounce off the boards. Advantageous for Burke. Now Robinson looking for the tip. Jones got it. Anderson had it, saved with the pads. And the Melbourne Ice overcleared now through Lazzarotto. Lazzarotto to Bremner. He'll take the line. Backhand pass is a big hit there as well. So welcome to Friday night hockey, Jonathan Bremner.
Yeah.
And a few follow-ups there, and that's going to be unwise. It looks like it's going to be called for a penalty.
Parker Thomas is a pretty solid player, so at the end of the day, you best expect that if you're going to try to get around him, there's going to be a bit of body on that. And that's exactly what it was. It was a good, solid hit.
He's certainly shown in his time here that he's very much, when he hits you stay hit.
Yeah.
Best way to describe it.
No doubt about that.
But in fact, it looks like they're both going to get penalties, so it's going to be coincidentals, I would say. Much of that is for the follow-up as well.
Sheepy, I was about to ask where was the Stangs D, but then the replay showed the goal came off the Stangs D. Well, that's a very unfortunate thing. But you know, if you watch the NHL playoffs, I believe that one of the St. Louis goals came right off a Boston defenseman, Simone Woodvine, drinking Iron Jack lager.
I haven't had that yet.
Yeah, a larger lager. I like it. Okay, have one for us. All right. I was going to ask my friend Stan Scott. Timo joined late. Did Mr. White swallow another insect, and that's why he's absent?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually think he's gone to a wedding, and he assured me it wasn't his. Okay.
Well, he's going there with, I'm sure there's plenty of flies, so there's plenty of chances to choke to death. So cleared by the Mustangs, so Vyasov. Adam Vyasov Around the corner by Lundgren. To Owens, to Isaacson. Back to Owens, to McMahon. Trying to get it back out towards Isaacson. Puck is being blocked. Still, McMahon did okay just to cover and protect the puck to stop Tommy Powell skating away on a breakaway.
I think there was a bit of rumbling on Melbourne Ice's bench because they thought he was holding their player.
So he's more holding his position. So Owens. Back to Vadim Vyasov. Mustangs on the power play. Shot comes in. Vadim Vyasov. Gets back out towards McMahon. Now Isaacson goes out wide. The shot was wide by Owens. So McMahon fires, shoots. Looking there for the tip. Jack Carpenter. Now McMahon fires, shoots, rebound offered. But Anderson has that one covered.
So I'm going to put a plug in for McMahon because, again, he got that puck and he didn't wait very long and he let it go and he got a good shot away and there's traffic in front of the goaltender. And the only thing that saved him there was the fact the goalie got the puck. Andrew McDougall, anything better than an AHL Melbourne Derby to unwind on a Friday night? Well, no way. Hamish Jones. I just want to know what Rod uses to groom that magnificent beard. Love,
what
love,
do you use?
Love and a little oil, mate. Okay. I'll tell you my secret later.
So Mustangs with the puck. Robinson on the blue line. Shot comes in, but the shot was blocked by Burke. And the Ice managed to kill the penalty. The Mustangs get the puck back. And that looked like it nearly took out half the Melbourne Ice bench. You nearly joined us in the commentary box.
So the interesting thing there, if you're watching the game and you see Jamie Burke, he's off to the left. Stephen White may have choked, but not as bad as Chloe's mate, Mr. Shorten, last week.
He's obsessed with the election result.
Eh? Really? Now, getting back to what I was saying.
Don't worry, Steve, I've moved on.
was open, and no one was attending him. So everyone's watching the puck, and they're not watching what's going on behind them. And that's a dangerous affair.
So Ice win the face-off. Carpenter goes out wide to Petrovsky. Right up against Armstrong. Intercepted now by Webster. Looking for Kuczewski. Kuczewski looking for a hat-trick. Battle in the corner. It's a Stringer. Turns it over. Straight to Kuczewski. He's tied up by Bright. He's going to have to fight up against Armstrong. Bright's also there. And now McMahon should be able to clear the puck for the Mustangs and does. Stretch pass. James Petrovsky. Lost it. Being turned over. Chance now for Stringer. Forced to go it alone. The Stringer, a little backhanded attempt. I'm not sure about the timing there with the Mustangs line change. Kurana. Shot was blocked. Now Vadim Vyasov. Outlet pass. Great chance now for Owens to Isaacson. And a save by Anderson. Easily the best play by the Mustangs all night. And it looks like there's going to be a penalty. And it's going to go against the Mustangs by the looks of it.
Owen? No.
And it looks like against Vyasov.
Watch this play. Owen, not this one, but on the almost goal, Owen's got eyes in the back of his head. And he does a spin around move to give the pass. Watch this. Thank you very much. No one's picking up the guy, and a great save off Isaacson. So that just goes to show you again what I was saying before. You got a 2-on-1. Everyone's watching the puck carrier. No one's watching Isaacson. And Owens makes a great play to set Isaacson up. That should have been in.
Only saved by the goaltender. Melbourne Ice win the face-off. Graham shoots and scores! scores. The Ice waste no time on the power play, and all of a sudden it's 3-0.
Well, you know, you got to wonder. I'd be wondering if I was both coaches, because if I'm Brent Laver for the Ice, I'm up 3-0, but I'm thinking the vast majority of the plays in my end. If I'm the Mustangs coach, Max Perrant, I'd be thinking, what's going on here? I'm carrying the play, and yet I'm down 3-0. So something's got to change here if the Mustangs want to get back in this game. And if I'm Melbourne Ice, well, I need to get the puck out of my own end and build on what I already have.
So that's Todd Graham's first goal of the season. It's a good setup on the power play by the Ice, winning from the face-off, and they win this face-off as well. Petrosky left it for no one. Now Burke driving towards the net. Just lost it at the wrong moment. Now Graham, last goal scorer. Out there pass only finds Robinson, couldn't trap the puck. So Burke rides the bump of Carpenter. Gets a shot away, but it's blocked. So McDowell tied up by Jack Carpenter. Casey Kucheski's there in support, looking for Graham. He's lost it. Here's a chance now for the Mustangs. That will have a face-off.
What did he call there? There's a penalty up.
Yeah, it looks like it's a penalty against the Melbourne Ice, and it's going against Casey Kucheski.
8. Doesn't the Mustangs have 11 more points in this season's league stats? What is going on with the team tonight? Well, that's a good question, and I'm sure at the end of the day, if you had asked someone before the game started who was going to win this thing, Andrew McDougall, I'm surprised he wasn't wearing Toronto Raptors gear like the rest of Canada right now. Well, good point, Andrew. I might do that on Sunday. I don't think anybody would have picked this.
It's the scorelines has much to do with Melbourne derbies. Weird stuff happens. It's part of the deal with the Melbourne Derby, so it's never dull.
No,
but
sure.
I think the first game in season, Melbourne Ice got off to a similar lead and still lost. So
yep, that's correct.
There's still plenty of time for the Mustangs. Well, they don't want to concede another one. That one's out towards Isaacson. Pass back to Isaacson. McMahon. Back to Owens. Back to McMahon. He'll fire, shoots. And Isaacson will get it back. So the Mustangs on the power play. McMahon. Owens fires and shoots. Clearly the structure is to find Owens with a bit of space, and to McMahon nearly slipped one through. And we've got a few extracurriculars for good measure.
So, check it out again. McMahon, exactly the same play. And he gets it on the goalie. There's traffic there again. And the only thing that saved their bacon was that Sebastian managed to hold the puck.
And so Darcy Flanagan having a few words to McMahon. What a surprise, Darcy Flanagan having a few words out of the ice.
I'm sure that they're very enchanting words.
I'm sure.
And I mean, Sebastian actually wasn't sure where the puck was.
It was a bit of a knuckleball and he lost it.
That's correct. Misty Yanetta, 4:50 a.m. here in Alabama, watching my favorite goalie, Mr. Anderson. Let's go Ice. Well, you must be very happy, Misty.
It's looking good so far.
Timo, in your expert opinion, is playing against a former goalie of yours for years easier, as you know, weak points from practice? Well, you know, that's an interesting thing, and that goes back to the start of the broadcast. So I'd say, sure, you've been in practice with this guy, and you know what he's like. But, you know, he's come across to another team, and he's got a different persona. So the only thing you can hope is that you break his concentration and find his weaknesses again.
And it looks like that's going to be an offside call. Yes, it is.
And that's not always the case, because a new home, new outlook, new attitude, and the things that you thought were a weakness, he gets over, and he becomes a stronger goalie for it.
And sometimes even new coaches with a different perspective,
sure,
which can make an impact. Some people react to coaching different ways, and
sure.
I'm not sure what the Mustangs have got in that regard, but it's been working so far for him.
Yep.
So Burke driving towards the net. So against the shot, backhand pass out towards Thomas, and that's hit the back netting. I'm not sure if Anderson got anything onto that, but it was a great opportunity.
I think Parker Thomas, like, he had the net and he went high and missed the whole thing, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm sure if you had that chance again, he wouldn't make that mistake. And
he was going top shelf, yeah.
He was sort of coming away from the puck as well, so
sort of off balance.
Yeah.
So Mustangs win the face-off. Owens. Pass back out towards Owens, lost it. Now Petrossi clears it for the ice. Armstrong the trailer in support. Petrossi goes for the shot himself. By Murphy makes one save, makes a second save. A couple of great opportunities late in the period for the ice. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. And the eye's clear, and that should be enough. Petrossi winds up, shoots. Murphy had that one covered, probably too late anyway, but a great opening period for the Melbourne Ice, and plenty of homework to do for the Melbourne Mustangs so far.
Well, I'll say, and I just close by saying what I said before. It's a bit weird because if you're the Melbourne Ice coach, right?
And there's a few words. Jamie Burke and, well, pretty much anyone in a white jersey at the moment, I think. Might have been related to that late shot, although that said it still was within time.
Well, I would say so. I mean, in the scheme of things, there's far more important things to worry about than that.
Still a little bit of discussion there between the two benches, which can only fire things up for the second period. And it might be enough just to inspire the Mustangs. So wrap things up at the end of the first period in the second Melbourne Derby of 2019. It is the Melbourne Ice who lead the Melbourne Mustangs 3-0. We'll be back shortly with the second period of play. Welcome back to O'Brien Group Arena for the second period of play in the second Melbourne Derby of 2019. It's the Melbourne Ice. A bit of an upset so far. They're leading the Melbourne Mustangs 3-0. 2 goals to Casey Kulcheski and 1 to Todd Graham. Looks like there might be a couple of penalties, to at least one penalty anyway, certainly to come out of a little fracas that happened after the buzzer at the end of the first period. James Petrosky is certainly in the bench.
Well, I wonder what happened there, because there was a little bit of a kerfuffle in front of the Mustangs bench, and it was a bit unclear as to what was going on.
It was, but got to look at the footage, and there was really nothing there of note, outside of a few little words here and there, but the usual, byplay you expect, between benches, particularly in an emotional game like the Derbies are.
Yep, and you wouldn't expect anything less. But
looks like we'll have at least one Mustang going through as well, and looks like that might be Christian Isaacson will sit in the penalty box as well. So we've got, it looks like we'll be starting with 4-4, which might open things up. And if we start on 4-4, who do you think actually would that suit? Ice or Mustangs, Rod?
Well, mate, with the people that are on the ice at the moment, I'd have to be biased and say that the Mustangs would have the upper hand, but we're down 3-0 here, so at the moment, who knows?
Oh, you can be biased all you want, Rod. One day we might even get you and Jack together and you can have the bias on. I'll just sit back and enjoy the show. So Kulcheski now for the Melbourne Ice. Tied up there by Vadim Vyazov. So Armstrong out towards Graham. Traps the puck now and takes the line. Everyone was onside, got a shot away and off the pads there of Pine Murphy. And we'll have a face-off.
So I wonder what's going through Jaden Pine Murphy's head. Down 3-0 in front of his old club. He's got to get his mindset right and mentally get into the game. And not for one moment am I suggesting that he's the reason why they're down 3-0, but everyone looks and goes, well, what's going on? And they look to the goaltender, you know what I mean? And they really need to be looking wider than that. Jaden's got to be tough mentally and tough physically.
And one of those goals you couldn't put on any goaltender.
Absolutely,
and the other one,
right.
I think, was the defence let him down. Here's a chance now for the Mustangs. Vyazov just couldn't get a tip.
That was a great little play by Jordan Owens, though, to just give it a little bit of a floater pass to Vyazov breaking in.
And the Ice clear the zone. So Armstrong driving to the net. He's held up. Des couldn't get a clean shot away at the last moment, but it's going to be a penalty and it's going to be against the Mustangs.
Yeah, I think there'll be an elbowing on it. No. What? Did you see what the call was?
Not sure if it was a holding call or...
Robinson had his stick up a little bit. Watch this. I would have thought maybe an elbow or something.
Yeah. I think it's for that.
They called a slash.
A slash. That would have to be it. Probably not a bad penalty to give away. Ultimately didn't get away a penalty shot. Certainly stopped Matt Armstrong from getting a clean shot away. So Ice go on the power play. 4-on-3 power play. So the Mustangs defence are going to have to work double time at the moment. McMahon will clear the zone. And Anderson will leave the puck. And towards Jacob Lundgren. Gets it out towards Todd Graham. Back to Lundgren. Back to Graham. Make sure everyone was onside, but he got stuck. Really turned the puck over. Now Powell flips it up. Vyazov first to the puck. Melbourne Ice looking to find their structure on the power play, but haven't been able to so far.
Well, what an opportunity for them at the moment. If they were to score in this power play, that would be one more nail in the coffin.
So Powell to Lundgren. Back to Powell, but just wide of him. It was too hot and too high, too wide that pass. Lundgren's shot was blocked, and he have to escape back and retrieve the puck. So the coincidentals have been dealt with. So we're going to have a 5-on-4 power play. Petrosky back on the ice. Forced out wide, got a shot away. Graham keeps it in. Now Petrosky. Tied up there by Thomas. Petrosky gets a shot away. Pine Murphy makes the save. So Pansino. Lane for the Mustangs. And the home side in this one managed to clear the puck away, and Anderson will hold the puck up and wait for some support. Pass back out towards Lundgren. Now Graham. Looking for Lazzarotto, finds him. Encino just cut into his lane. And the Mustangs overcleared again. So Mustangs have done well on this penalty kill so far.
That's for sure. If you're the coach, you'd be pretty happy about that, because really in the scheme of things, if a goal had been scored on that power play, they would have had a long road back.
Now the Ice have it, but the shot was in the end well high. But that was a great save for mine. I thought that was a great penalty kill from the Mustangs.
Yep.
It's one of those ones that can change the momentum of a game a little bit.
Yep, for sure. Full marks for them. They managed to hold their ground, especially when it was 4-on-3, and keep Melbourne Ice off the board. Very positive. Petrosky's a very good skater. He's got good hands, and he looks like he's got a pretty good shot. So Mustangs are going to want to make sure that he's not left alone.
So outlet pass looking for Burke. Coming in as Carpenter for the Ice. Loses edge and hits the boards heavily. No penalty though. Here's a chance for McDowell. Anderson scrambles to make the save. Does so. Burke looking for a penalty. None forthcoming though. So Carpenter. He's forced out wide. And now the Mustangs have it. Burke. Tries to get towards McDowell. Couldn't get a tip. So Wong fires, shoots, and saved there by Pine Murphy. So Flanagan just loads up again for the Ice. Decides to skate it through neutral zone himself, then fans on his shot. Turned over, here's a chance now for the Mustangs. Anderson couldn't trap it. And Hoddick will get there first. So Graham. Flipped up high. So McMahon beats Chai to the park. Hoddick. And that's hit the back netting, so we'll have a face-off, but all of a sudden you're feeling a bit of emotion starting to come in this game. Certainly the players are skating harder.
Yeah. Did he lose an edge or did he get pushed down? I think it's a bit more of losing an edge, but a little bit of contact to help it along its way. So if you have a look at that play there, again, if you're Melbourne Ice's coach, looking at 3 Mustangs standing in front of your goaltender and only 1 man back, not a good thing. And the only thing that saved them there is that Brendan, I think, tried to make the play on his own instead of using the guy to the left or the right.
So McMahon just bumped off the puck. Nice looking to clear it again, but it's been turned over. And Anderson made the save. Mustangs fans certainly enjoyed that one. Now Bright. The Bright into the corner. Now Vyasov. Vyasov's driving towards net, cuts into the centre lane, forced out wide. Gets a shot away that was blocked. Now Kulcheski. And we've got, looks like it's going to be a penalty. Holding, and...
Is it Flanagan or is it Vadim?
Looks like it'll be Vadim by the looks of it. No, in fact, it's going to be Flanagan. So Mustangs will go on the power play.
Here we go.
And a chance to join the
That's
Mustang
probably why
ring.
the crowd was cheering, or half the crowd would have been cheering.
Something like the penalty, yeah, actually clear hold.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
So we have a power play now for the Mustangs.
Dragon Ray, come on Mustangs, need some good news this week. Had to leave New Zealand early due to a near-death MIL and spent the week in Wodonga, not at the hockey.
Well, I hope that the mother-in-law's all okay.
I hope so too.
So now Burke fires and shoots, and that, well, went in the atmosphere, that one.
There's there's nothing worse than a mother-in-law that's not well, especially if you love her and she's a good cook.
That is
Right?
true.
There you go.
If you don't get along with it, it could be a slightly different story. But
Well,
let's not go there.
we're not going there.
It's a pass out wide. So Anderson makes the save.
Well, Melbourne Mustangs have a sincere, my friend Bradley ought to change the Mustangs team and name the Brumbies because this team is wild and not in a good way. Well, that's true, but hopefully they'll take advantage of this power play and get back on in the game and on the board and in the game.
So Owen out wide to Vyasov. Now McMahon fires, shoots, puck spills, free chance. The shot though was wide. Great opportunity though for the Mustangs. Graham throwing his weight around. Something he hasn't been doing much of this year. So McMahon out wide. Vyasov back towards McMahon. He'll go out wide himself. So Isaacson out towards McMahon. Save made by Anderson. So McMahon fires, shoots, rebound offered. Jordan Owen out wide. Isaacson shoots. Anderson again with the save. And we'll have a face-off.
Well, you know, I got to say that Mustangs have got good control and they've made a few things happen. They can't seem to get it past Sebastian Anderson. I mean, fair enough, he hasn't been taxed royally, but again,
he's
they've got
delivering when he
control of
needs
the
to.
puck. That's correct. So, Ross Noiga, AHL Game Day. Good to hear my old buddy Rod Johns on the broadcast, watching rugged up here in cold Adelaide. Oh, you probably need to get yourself a red wine, my friend. Sit back in front of the fire, and that's correct.
Of course, Adelaide here over the next couple of days, taking on the Melbourne Ice tomorrow, Mustangs Sunday. To Thomas. Shot comes in. Shot was blocked. Anderson gets it back, though, for the Mustangs. Thomas decided against the shot. Back out towards Matt Anderson. Back to Parker. Thomas winds up, shoots. Shot, though, was blocked. So Melbourne Ice defending well so far. Anderson. Back out towards Thomas, gets a shot away. Another save there by Anderson. Still the Mustangs have the puck. Thomas winds up, shoots. Another pad save by Anderson. Lundgren. Now Hoddick will clear. Going back as Parker Thomas. James Petrosky on his heels. Outlet pass nearly left it behind there by Burke. It's it back out towards Thomas, looking for McDowell. Just backhands that one into the corner. Anderson will leave it for Kahu Joyce, the former Mustang. Burke winds up, shoots, and a glove save by Sebastian Anderson.
Well, 7 minutes left in the second period. Mustangs had an opportunity to get on the board. They didn't capitalize on that. Like I said before, I thought they had good control in their power play, but they probably didn't tax Sebastian Anderson enough. They need to be more clever and get behind him, get the puck behind him, sorry, and make something happen.
So Vyasov for the Mustangs. And Dr. Owens, great opportunity. And once again, the Melbourne Ice saved by Sebastian Anderson.
If anybody thought Sebastian Anderson was just having an okie-dokie day, that was probably the save of the game because that puck was gone and he made a great glove save.
But even the passing by Vyasov, the patience there. But here's a chance now for the Ice on the counter. Kulcheski. Isaacson lines him up. And all of a sudden the hits are flying. Petrosky. So Armstrong. Now Owens decides to go out wide. Towards Robinson, back towards Owens. So Erzin fires, shoots. Nearly trickled through. So the Mustangs looking dangerous. And that's a big hit there. This looks like there's going to be no call, but the Melbourne Ice player is prone. And Kuruanis just decided to jump in and to deliver some justice. So it's going to be a penalty against the Melbourne Ice. Well, the linesman jumping pretty early on that one. Kuruanis certainly had Erzin, I think it was in his sights. Now you got Robinson and Flanagan. And I think this might be where the fire might be lit with these two.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the hit?
Well, yeah, just saw. Don't want to say too much at this stage. Certainly a big hit. Initial impression was it could have. Initial impression it could have been a penalty, but wouldn't mind seeing that one on replay. But Robinson and Flanagan are still having words with each other. I think particularly Robinson's willing to go. At the moment, the linesmen are just sort of stopping it from happening.
Yeah.
So it's Chris Wong is down. And actually he looks in a bad way. He really does.
He had his head down. Right, you want to see that from another angle.
Definitely was a penalty. No ifs, no buts about it.
2 and 10 is what'll get called, hidden from behind. But because we can't see that we're too close to the boards, it'd be interesting to see where he was. There's no doubt about it, though. He was adjacent the boards, and that's probably what they've called.
And unfortunately, I think the angle he was on at the point of impact also, unfortunately, he's gone headfirst in.
It looks like it into the boards.
Into the boards, or where the glass meets the boards. Instead of see here, we're going to get super slow. It's an ugly hit. It's no denying that's it's pretty much forward straight onto that the blue part where the glass meets the boards. And unfortunately, this reminds me of last year with Zane Jones with Chris Wong. Hit him at a similar point of contact. He is clearly in a very bad shape.
Well, it's an interesting thing, and that's why they brought the rule in, because it's a very dangerous area on the ice, and if you're not careful and you're not watching what's going on, you can easily get hurt. There's nothing worse than getting taken into the boards when you're like a meter away, and it's one of the reasons why the rule's there. So
we've got a wider shot here, and let's see if that shows too much there. It's
like, I'm not trying to defend Andrew, but I don't believe he was trying to intentionally put him into the boards. It's just where Chris was at the time that he made the hit. And unfortunately, he was coming across him and he pushed him right into the boards.
I think the hit was always probably going to be a 2 and a 10 because he did, it was in the numbers. The end result, we both, you probably know Andrew a bit better than I do now, but I think he's a pretty genuine guy and not a dirty player.
No.
So I don't think his initial intent was
certainly not to
cause this injury. It's one of those, unfortunately, in hockey being a physical game, it could be a whole lot of events that unfortunately has left Chris Wong in a pretty bad way.
Well, there's no doubt that there's always tension when these two teams play, and so it was getting physical. You saw that, and I think that that it just happened. And unfortunately for Chris Wong, he got the unfortunate end of that. Can you tell, is he off the ice now?
Well, we've got actually a super slow-mo, a zoom in, I should say, of this. It's going to look a bit grainy, but and I think he's lost his helmet too.
There's no doubt about it that it's a 2 and 10.
At least. Oh boy, he's not in a good way. So we can only express our best wishes for Chris. Ongoing, not just for tonight and this current injury, but he's going. I'm not a neurosurgeon, but he's going to be out for quite some time. Just looking at him right now. So we can only wish him the best for his recovery.
Absolutely. One good thing is he's not being stretchered off. He seems to be aware of what's going on, so that's a positive as well.
But we've now got to look forward to the remainder of this game and what impact will this delay and have on the game itself. Will the time actually calm tempers down, or is this game just ready to explode?
Oh, I would think that that will probably accelerate the physical activity to see what's going on. I don't think both benches are are happy. Max is certainly expressing his feelings to the referee and linesman, and I'm sure that Melbourne Ice are looking at that thinking, that's not sporting, dude, so it'll be interesting to see. And this is where the coaches come into it in a big way. So if you're Brent Laver, you're up 3-0. You don't want your players to lose sight of what's going on here. The best thing for them to do is keep their cool and score another goal. If you're the Mustangs, you need to refocus and understand that you've got to get back in this game. You've got to get on the board to do that, and you can't afford to lose sight of what's going on.
And you got Max Parent having a few words with Jeff Klink, the referee. I don't know if you can put an argument about that hit. To me, even though the game's getting more physical, it was sort of out of what we've seen so far. I'm looking at that individual. I think Max might be arguing something that can't be argued.
Well, or else
honest.
he's arguing something else. Maybe.
I think he's pointing to a few other things, but it's. I just look in the hit in isolation. It was a bad hockey hit.
Yeah. Well, look, it's the sort of thing. You're in a dangerous zone, and you get taken into the boards, or you take someone into the boards like that, and you know full well that you're probably exposed to a 2 and 10, and so you know, accept it and move on, because you're not going to get the referee to change his mind, and all you're going to do is antagonize the situation. And
I'm just having a look. Actually, Andrew isn't in the penalty box at the moment, so Gavin Birch is going there. So I think he's got a match or like a misconduct penalty.
Maybe that's what's happened, and maybe that's why Max is arguing, because once again, you'd like to think that Andrew wasn't intentionally trying to hurt Chris Wong, and so probably Max is thinking it's a 2 and 10 and nothing else. And so if he's got something else, well. Sammy J, pray Chris recovers. Second concussion might be his career. Well, let's hope that that's not the case. And
that's a discussion I think will happen though.
Well, we can only hope the best for him. I've had players that I've coached that have had concussions, and they've ended up not playing again because of that, and that's not what you want.
And it happens at all levels. Like, even touching my family. My dad was played footy at a very low level, let's be honest. But in the end, he was forced to stop playing because of serious concussions.
Sure.
My only memories of his playing career was him being carried off in the stretcher repeatedly.
Yeah.
So it's and something we take seriously now.
Very much so.
So Isaacson, he's tied up along the blue line. Tries to cut middle lane, but then fanned on his shot. Still gets the puck back, but he'll concede some territory. In fact, it's going to be a penalty against the Ice as Pine Murphy makes his way to the bench. So Bright. It's been touched up, and we'll have another penalty. It's interesting, they've actually given on the board for hers, and that's actually a double minor, so I'm not sure how that's being called. But
I'm in pencil, Mustang fan though I may be, you never want to see something like that ever. All my hope Wong's okay after that hit. Well, we feel the same way. www.youtube.com. Joel South, thoughts are with Chris Wong. Hope you get back to 1,000% and come back better than ever. Well, we wish him the best too, mate.
So Lane. So Owens. Parker Thomas going in feet first into the boards, and that's going to be a penalty call against Jacob Lundgren.
Well,
and all of a sudden the penalty box is looking rather full. This is Melbourne Derby tradition.
well,
Normally it's Darryl refereeing when this happens, but I wonder how much is also the referees now. That was there, but
yeah.
I wonder how much they also want to make sure that any potential, don't know if the word using dirty play is appropriate, but to take,
I think they're probably trying to keep the game in hand a bit. Okay, so once again, they need to stay focused too and not take a certain component of the game away, but they don't want it to get out of hand.
So now Thomas for the Mustangs. So Owens. Now Isaacson. To Thomas. Goes in the middle lane. Isaacson out wide. Looking for a pass. Thought about the wraparound poke. Checked away by Joyce. Now Owens. Side against Parr. to Parker. Now pass out wide to Parker, couldn't trap it, and the Eyes are able to clear the zone, get some relief.
Well, Mustangs best be doing something. They got a minute left on a 5-on-3. They want to be putting the puck away.
So now Thomas. Gets it back to Isaacson, back to Thomas. Thomas to Isaacson. Delays on his shot, and then he shoots wide. Probably should have gone in the first bite of the cherry. Thomas fires, shoots, and that's straight into the logo of Anderson.
They've got to do better than that. Like, at the end of the day, they've got to tax Sebastian Anderson, not give him the puck, right? They're 5-on-3. They need to make sure that Anderson screen and let something go and make him work for it. 33 seconds left on this power play.
Penalty box party. It is.
Yeah, well, looks like it, doesn't it?
It's a derby tradition. I think we've had a few games where there's more players in the penalty box than there was on the bench by the end of one.
Must be the penalty box attendant. What do you reckon?
Could well be. So Mustangs win the face-off. So Burke winds up and shoots. The shot was wide. So McMahon. Well, McMahon just couldn't trap it and have to go back and retrieve it. Pine Murphy will leave it for Michael McMahon. Pass out, finds Burke. Burke trying to cut his way through the middle lane. He's forced to go from one side of the ring to the other. Good work by Carpenter. Shot comes in, Anderson makes the save.
Sebastian Anderson's on his money. Like I said, they need to make sure he doesn't get a clear look at it, and they need to make his day a lot more unhappy. Andrew McDougall, I don't think he was intentionally trying to hurt Wong for 1 second, but it's an ugly hit anyway. You slice it up, hoping for a speedy recovery.
So from the face-off, it's won by the Ice. Another 10 seconds. They'll actually go back onto the power play. So now Joyce. Wide pass out towards Flanagan, looking for Bremner. As support, the former Darcy Flanagan, looking for Lazzarotto and/or Joyce. Joyce will just keep it in. And fires, shoots, but the shot was wide. Bremner keeps it in. Out towards McKenzie, fires, shoots, and a glove save there by Jaden Pine Murphy, who's settled down well in this second period.
Yep, he has. He looked confident on that, and that's a good thing. Like I said before, he needs to get his head square on.
There we go. We got
Armstrong Frey. Boarding starts at 2 and 10. If it results in an injury, it automatically escalates to 5 or game misconduct, and that's exactly what I think he got.
Yep.
So
that's straight from one of our refereeing fraternity.
yeah.
So thank you for the clarification. So Kolcheski now for the Ice. Petrovski's also there. That's the puck. Leave it for Lazzarotto. Pass to the top of the crease, and he nearly hit a defender and nearly found its way through. Kolcheski looking for Petrovski. The puck's being turned over. So Isaacson to Vyasov, trying to weave his way through, and it's in! So the Mustangs score, they get their first of the game, they draw it down to 2.
Well, leave it to Vadim. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, I actually think Vadim's having one of his better years. He's with 2 guys that if he stays focused and comes out of his individual shell, that was a great effort.
That was great.
Okay?
When you're looking on replay, that just to flip it up and then get a shot away, that was a great goal.
And I mean, I was actually under my breath saying, shoot the thing, shoot the thing. So really, he did shoot it in the end. So there you go.
So the Mustangs get there first. It's back down to 2. Now Hoddick. Lundgren. Outlet pass only finds Stringer. So Stringer will take the line. He's forced out wide himself. And Carpenter just changed direction. He'll go back out towards Jacob Lundgren to Bremner. Bremner will take the line. Trapped along the half wall. Thomas was wearing like a cheap suit and then bumps Hodig off the puck and clears it. So now it's Carpenter for the Ice. Go back to Lundgren. He played off the half wall. The Ice are able to clear the zone. Bremner traps it, then decides to go a little backhander into the corner, only as far as Thomas. The Ice will take it. Line change to Jordan Owens. Owens deciding against the pass to McMahon. And then probably overhandled the puck. Gets a shot away, does McMahon, and Anderson makes the save.
Well, I can assure you of one thing. It was an opportune time for the Mustangs to score that goal. There's about 24 seconds left in this period, and I'd be a very happy coach going in 3-1, better than 3-0. Andrew McDougall, just what the Mustangs needed. Energy late to carry into the final period. Exactly, my friend. You took the words out of my mouth.
And they nearly got a second one while they're at it. So within 15, just under 20 seconds remaining in the second period, Vyasov leading Mackenzie Kirana to the race of the puck. So now Vyasov just gobbling up some time. And it should be enough for the second period, one that's been eventful for many reasons, but unfortunately this period remembered for the pretty sickening injury to Chris Wong, but it's the Melbourne Ice who lead the Mustangs 3-1.
Yeah, well, like I said just 15 seconds ago, you obviously want to be winning, but let's face it, that wasn't the case for the Mustangs. They're back in the game though now, 3-1. If you're Melbourne Ice, you'd much prefer to be going in the dressing room at 3-0, okay? So there's a bit of a pickup here, and I'm sure that if Mustangs come out and fire at the start of the third period, well, if they score the next goal, it's anybody's game, okay?
So to wrap things up at the end of two periods, it's the Melbourne Ice who lead the Melbourne Mustangs in the second Melbourne Derby of 2019, 3-1. We're back shortly with the third period to play. Welcome back to O'Brien Icehouse for the third period of play in the second Melbourne Derby of the 2019 season. The Ice lead the Mustangs 3-1. The Mustangs will be out without the services of Andrew Erzen for the remainder of the game, as he got a game penalty for the hit on Chris Wong. So we can just clarify that it was a game penalty that was given.
Yep, 5 in a game, right? So.
And of course, Chris Wong himself will certainly be out for the remainder of tonight's game as well, and longer.
And let's hope it's not too long. Okay, so again, just re-emphasize the fact that it's very unfortunate when those sort of things happen. I don't believe that Andrew Erzen intentionally did that. And it's for people who aren't familiar with the sport, it's a very dangerous area of the rink, and you need to be very attentive. That's why they call those kind of penalties. And we can only hope that Chris recovers, and everyone is okie dokie.
Absolutely. Now for the third period, 2 goals the difference in favour of the away side, actually. This one, the Melbourne Ice. There's Petrosky, but that looks like that's going to be called offside, is it?
Glove to hit. So 19 and a half minutes to go, or 19 minutes and 51 seconds. So if you're Melbourne Mustangs, you want to get the next goal. You want to close the gap and swing the momentum towards you. If you're Melbourne Ice, well, you want to do the same thing and make sure that you don't open the door.
Well, Melbourne Ice fans are probably on the edge of their seats right now, because for the past season and a bit, third periods have been the downfall of the Melbourne Ice on many occasions. So even last week they surrendered the game late against the Newcastle North Stars. So there'd always be a worry for Melbourne Ice fans until the final buzzer and they're still in front, which will certainly give confidence for the Mustangs. We got a penalty, and it's going to be for a slash by the looks of it, going against Mackenzie Caruana. So this is a great opportunity for the Melbourne Mustangs.
So there you go. Period's just started, and Melbourne Ice get a penalty.
And
right there.
Quite obvious.
Yeah.
Obvious and unnecessary.
That's right. You do not want to give Melbourne Mustangs any opportunity to put the second goal in and swing the momentum.
So on the power play, Mustangs win the face-off. Thomas goes to McDowell, fires, shoots. Anderson with the save. Now Burke out towards Thomas. To McDowell, back towards Thomas, fires, shoots. Puck spills free, and it's in!
There you go.
So Matt Anderson picks up the rebound, and the Mustangs claw one back. It's a 3-2 game.
And I mean, look, man, that was inevitable, because I said to you earlier that I thought that controlling the power play was 95% for the Mustangs. What they weren't doing is putting the puck away, so it was inevitably going to happen. And what a better opportunity than this to do it. So, and look, he's open, the puck bounces out, and he's got 3/4 of the net to shoot at, and it's 3-2. And now we're in a hockey game.
And dare I say, Melbourne Ice defensively looked like they were watching the puck, not attacking the puck as it bounced off the boards. Mustangs they hit the back of the net, and it's a 1-goal game. And confidence with the Mustangs, as Robinson will send that one into the corner as Anderson comes out of his crease. Now Vyasov. Joyce. And Vyasov gets it back now for the Mustangs. In the corner. Try to cut in. Robinson fires, shoots. Rebound goes into the corner. It's McCoy. Now Vyasov. He lost it. Ice are able to clear. Joyce. Melbourne Ice making a line change. Just caught on the hop. They've turned it over. So Vyasov being busy so far this period. Is that why this is a good setup for the Mustangs? Anderson makes the save. Off the glass there by Armstrong. Lane will skate back, but Hoddick's too quick for him. Battle along the boards between Lane and Hoddick. McKenzie in there in support. Ice win the puck, but they're going to turn over as McKenzie had McDowell wearing him like a cheap suit, and the Melbourne Ice player he's back up behind the ice. So Jones along the half wall. attempted shot was wide. Now Jones. To Thomas. Fires, shoots. Bit of a knuckleball. Went wide of the crease. But so far it's all Melbourne Mustangs in this third period. To Graham. McMahon out towards Damien Bright, back out towards McMahon. Caruana pinches it, goes with a backhanded attempt. Pye Murphy makes the save. He nearly made up for giving away that bad penalty earlier.
Well, it's good to see Pye Murphy make that save. That keeps the door closed and builds his confidence as well, which is a positive thing.
It's one of those moments where goaltenders can get caught out. Hasn't had much to do, then all of a sudden there's turnover out of nowhere. That's usually when goaltenders get exposed a little bit.
Yep, for sure.
So Petrosky had it, then lost it. Kulcheski already has 2 goals tonight, but in fact that's going to be called offside, is it? I think it is. In fact, it's going to be sent down the other end, so I think it's an intentional offside.
And, you know, it's interesting on that play, McMahon bobbled the puck, and he managed to just push the Melbourne Ice player off a little bit, but Jaden Pye Murphy had to make a solid save, and that's a good thing for the Mustangs fans, not so good for Melbourne Ice.
So face-off won by the Melbourne Ice. Flanagan looking for Petrosky. Now it's Isaacson winding up there for the one-time was Vyazov, but he missed it. Got to make contact. I reckon that would have gone through Anderson. So Lundgren just fires on net. Behind Murphy off his pads. Caruana. Looking for Petrosky. And Isaacson rides the check and just skates it out of the zone. Vyazov met there by Petrosky. Now Thomas and Kulcheski. And all of a sudden you get the signs of physicality is coming back into this game. Owens loses an edge. In fact, it's going to be called, is it, for a penalty? And it's a charging call. It's going to go against the Melbourne Ice by the looks of it.
Well, that's interesting. No, it's, yeah, Melbourne Ice is going. I think Batum was going to say a few things. He got roughed up pretty good right in front of us here.
But at the same time, nothing, although we pretty much saw the hit, not the lead up to it, where we're sitting, didn't necessarily, and I like to see this replay, didn't really stand out as a charge for mine, first impressions anyway. Now I look at that, that's probably more so. He did certainly have him lined up.
Yep. But you know what? A lot of these things are interpretive, but there was movement on Vadim for sure, and that's why the bench went wild.
I think the noise probably helped the penalty call. Mustangs on the power play. They scored in the last one. So McDowell to Anderson, who scored that last goal. To Burke out wide. To McDowell, fires, shoots. And Anderson makes the save.
Well. 15 minutes left, another power play. And you know what you talked about with Melbourne Ice, and you know better than me, but Melbourne Ice struggling in the third period. So you'd have the jitters a little bit. You desperately want to be killing this penalty to make sure that you don't lose sight of where you're going.
Interesting that both benches actually standing up the bench. I know my usual colleague Melbourne Ice is big on calmness on the bench. And you can sense and feel that everyone's standing up, there's a bit of nervousness there. Kept in now by Thomas. So McDowell fires, shoots. And Matt Anderson scored the last goal, Rod. And he's averaging a point a game so far this season. He's had a bit of a career year, hasn't he?
He's been playing very well, and the interesting thing was against the North Stars, he picked one up as well. Hockey Train 1124. I'm watching the game from Japan. So there you go. Paul Jackson. Melbourne about to turn orange. Well, let's hope so if you're a Melbourne Mustangs fan. But that goes to show you, we seem to have people watching us from all around the world. And when you try to tell people that, they're very surprised.
So Owens keeps it in. Sends that one into the corner. Isaacson swooping on it. Now McMahon. Dicing that wide, and it's triggered through! Flack scores for the Mustangs at 3-all.
Now watch the play, because Jordan Owens could have taken the shot there, but he saw Flack off on the far post, and he didn't get good control on it, but he was smart enough to get it across to Flack, who also didn't get good control, but managed to get enough of it to put the puck away. So
wait a minute, what's going on here? It's in fact, it's been waved off.
Oh. What was the call? In the crease or something?
I think it definitely came off his skate.
Yeah.
He didn't make contact with a stick. I think it's called as a kicking motion. I don't think it's a kicking motion, to be honest.
That was certainly not intentional.
And so Thomas Flack has been deprived his first AIHL goal. That's another talking point to come out of this one.
Well, we want to see that again, maybe in the break. It's funny, actually. It reminds me of a...
So now it's Owens.
It reminds me of the goal in the NHL playoffs in the previous round off the hand pass.
And now Isaacson. Shot comes in, Anderson with the save. Melbourne Ice have killed the penalty. Kept in by McMahon. He's had a great night tonight. Then turn over Jeremy Chai now for the Melbourne Ice. Crosses the line. He's corralled out wide. The bigger body of McMahon coming to the fore. Now Isaacson and Petrosky. Petrosky's done well for the Ice. Then he's held up. That's got to be a clear penalty, but it's not being called. And there's probably another one in there. Or now it's been called. We've got a penalty call now. Probably third time lucky in terms of really unlucky, depending on which side you're on.
Not a good penalty, okay? So at the end of it... Okay, here we go. Watch this. Yeah, I don't know. That's a real dubious call because I don't believe he intentionally redirected the puck. It came off his skate. He lifted his foot, but I don't believe he intentionally redirected that puck. But you know what? It's an interpretive thing, okay? So
we're interpreting one way. Clearly, I reckon there'd be quite a few people on Twitter interpreting it the complete opposite way, and some of it might depend on the colours that you support.
Well, there's a possibility of that.
So Armstrong.
My producer is on your side, too.
Well, he's saying it's clear kicking motion. But here we go, Armstrong with Melbourne Ice on the power play. Fires, shoots, scores! Out of nowhere, Matt Armstrong. The Ice now lead 4-2 in a game that could have quite easily been 3-3 a few seconds ago.
Well, and I think that Jaden Pine Murphy realizes he probably should have had that, and he's got to shake that off. That's all there is to it.
So this is a bit of vintage Matt Armstrong coming in here. Saw an opening, just decided to fire the bullet, and he gets his first goal of the season. And that certainly has changed the complexion of things.
Well, there's still a lot of time left, but you're right. And again, it shifts some momentum. And so for the Mustangs, they need to shake that off and get back in the game. And for Melbourne Ice, it's a very positive thing.
And a couple of power play goals in this period coming from what were really bad penalties to give away by both sides.
That's correct.
So Lundgren keeps it in, just flips it up high. Now McCoy for the Mustangs. To Burke. Out towards McCoy, fires, shoots, saved by Anderson. Puck spills free. So Robinson with a weak shot. Off the pads there of Anderson.
It was good, though, because he didn't hesitate, and he got it right back in on the goaltender.
So Armstrong comes in, just couldn't get a clean shot away, looking for his second. Along the half wall, skated out by Robertson. Leading the foot race there is Burke for the Mustangs, tied up by Jacob Lundgren for the Melbourne Ice. Howell in there in support. So Apps. Hasn't seen too much ice time tonight, Bradley Apps. Now Anderson. And the ice will clear. And that is an icing call, but it does relieve the pressure for the ice.
So Mr. Armstrong's first goal of the year.
Yes. Yep.
That's interesting. How many games are we in now?
Well, he's personally coming into tonight. He's only played 4 games.
4 games. But even 4 games for Matt, that's a bit of a drought, so it's good that he scored a goal. No goal will be allowed if an attacking skater directs the puck into the goal net with his skate in any manner. Well, I'm not disputing that. The question is, did he redirect the puck intentionally? So that's the debatable issue.
But so now it's McMahon. Pass out. Shot comes in. Bremner just reaching out, couldn't find it. Carpenter. To Graham. Now Bremner driving towards the net. Well, he's forced out wide by Bright. Gets a shot away. And Pine Murphy will make the save.
So, Mr. Clough, 10 minutes left. What's your prognosis? Are you willing to put a prognosis on the table?
I think the next, probably next 2 minutes or so are going to be critical for the Mustangs just to try and reclaim some of the momentum.
Sure.
This game is still anybody's as far as I'm concerned. Mustangs have got the scoring power. There's still always the question mark of Melbourne Ice in third periods, let's be honest, which can play on their mind and play on the mind of teams playing them as well. You always feel like you're still in the game.
Yep.
So now it's really about making, I think, for Mustangs over the next 2 minutes, so really start making some big statements.
Nick Ayer, IHF Rule 96, Section 4. If an attacking skater turns his skate in any manner with the intention of directing the puck at the goal, and the puck enters the goal as is. Well, we could debate this till the cows come home, so my only comment to that is, was it intentional?
So it's an
interpretive thing, right?
Now here's a chance for the Mustangs. So Flack, happy to send that one in the corner. Apps leading Lundgren to the puck. Now Petrosky for the eye, should be able to skate it out, and he does. Send that one into the corner. Urano lead the race to the puck. Had well in the end, no one was there for him. So Joyce, Kahu Joyce for the Melbourne Ice. He's forced out wide. Just no one to pass to. There was no options on the outlet pass for him, and all of a sudden the Melbourne Ice in this past minute or so, this past couple of shifts, are starting to look. They look tired legs. I don't know if they're just trying to slow the game down a bit. Now McCoy, who's been busy in this third period.
Yep, he wasn't out there much, if at all, before.
Berg fires and Anderson makes the save.
So, I'm just waiting for the next tweet with the rule. So, let's go back to the previous play, because I could have swore that was an icing. People watched the puck go right between them all the way to the boards, and there was no icing call on that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, again, it would be miscalled if you're correct then.
Well, it's an interesting thing, though, again, because the referee or the linesman will be thinking that no one's made an attempt to stop the puck, and therefore I'm not going to call the icing.
So Anderson fires and shoots, and well, Anderson makes the save. Kept in, well, not kept in the end by McMahon, and Chai had him lined up. Pansino there in support. So Hoddick, he's lined up there by Owens, and it's in! Vyasov scores!
So, I'm gonna make a comment here, and if you want that play back, I will say that Sebastian Anderson made an error, okay? He had an opportunity to hold the puck. There were people on him, and he chose not to do that, and he put it back into play, and that came back to haunt him. So if you watch the replay, you'll see what I mean.
So it's only a one-goal game. Tresky gets it for the Melbourne Ice. Caruana is trapped along the half wall. Now Apps to Anderson. So Apps again. Flanagan for the Ice has just turned it over. Apps flies, and the tip was just wide by Matt Anderson. And now Lane. Interesting tactic-wise, and this must have been something going into the game. That third line for the Mustangs, we haven't seen too much of them now. They're getting plenty of ice time. Jones comes in and scores! It's 4-all!
Well, you know, it's a funny thing, and I never said it, but the fact of the matter is, if Mustangs want to win this, they have to lift, and the whole group of them have to lift. They can't rely on one person, and it's been spread out a little bit here with the exception of Vadim, and that's a good thing to see. Everybody's getting into it, you know what I mean? So Melbourne Ice, they let Sean Jones walk right in on Sebastian Anderson, and they need to stop that from happening.
So Sean Jones' 4th goal of the season, and dare I say it, one raise, Melbourne Ice and 3rd periods. Burke comes in, Anderson makes a save, and he'll glove that one on that occasion. But I say, Rod, that you know, playing Melbourne Ice in 3rd period, you always feel like you're in the game.
Well, for sure. Ollie Tabuga, I agree that the waved off call was never a goal, and I promise I'll never bring this up again. Oh, God, I love this job, man. How is Ollie doing anyways?
Now we've got Lachlan Bell.
I'm watching from Bali, Indonesia. Go Ice, go.
Normally living in the Bell end to our left. I think he's actually one of the sponsors of Chris Wong as well, so he'd be a little bit of an unhappy camper right now.
Yep.
So Isaacson for the Mustangs. Working his way through and take the line. He's bumped off the puck. Trotsky's clears. And that will be an icing call, but Rod.
Yep.
Mustangs, they've found their way back in. What do the Melbourne Ice do now to stop it from going completely pear-shaped?
Sketch adventures. Matt Anderson's outstanding so far this season for the Mustangs. Hockey has improved massively and playing some great hockey. Well, we just talked about that and we agree. In answer to your question, if I'm the Melbourne Ice team, I need to rethink what I'm trying to do. I need to make sure I keep the shooters to the outside, and I need to keep my foot on the gas, because at the end of the day, if I have the puck, Mustangs don't have the puck.
So now the ice has been stripped away by Anderson. Matt Anderson's shot was wide. Caught Todd Graham napping.
Yep. You're right, you know, Melbourne Ice looks tired.
And they've got a front up tomorrow against Adelaide.
Yeah. Andrew McDougall, if the Mustangs can stay aggressive on the forecheck, will go a long way to winning the game. Build pressure and let the scorers repeat shots well. Andrew, my theory on life is if you have the puck and the opposition doesn't, you're probably going to win the game. So stay with them and don't give them anything. AHL Sean Jones, 51, the most underrated player in the AHL. Well, Robert, you're probably not alone in that thought.
Of course, represented the Australian team as well over the journey. They're cleared away now by Flanagan for the Eyes. Finds Mackenzie Caruana. Kulcheski along the half wall. Ryan Murphy has that one gloved, so we'll have a face-off.
So this is really going to be very interesting. I mean, again, going back to what you had said about Melbourne Ice, sheepy, time to see what's happening in the AIHL day. Well, there you go.
The Tars won, did they? So that doesn't mean an Australian rugby franchise actually won a game, does it? It's a rare event, apparently.
It's
I don't follow
good to see, though. See, now he's gone from that sport to this sport. Which sport's better?
Oh, our one.
There you go.
Of course, I'm sure there's plenty of people in New Zealand who disagree with that.
Possibly.
I don't plan to travel to New Zealand anytime soon.
You need to bring them to an ice hockey game and straighten them out, though.
I think we do. So along the half wall. Robbins Kurana gets out of Kulcheski. Shot there by Petrovsky. Kurana's there as well. Provided plenty of energy tonight as Mackenzie Kurana, but here's a chance for the Mustangs. Owens take the line. Yasov just left the puck behind. Now Petrovsky goes in, weaves his way through, shoots, and I think Pine Murphy just saved that one right on the line. But Petrovsky trying to lift his side, but that's going to be a penalty against Powell for a trip.
Well, check out the play before the penalty here. Petrovsky coming in on, I believe it was McMahon, and watch the move he makes on it.
Oh, it was a filthy move. Look at this.
There we go. Thank you very much. And then, whoa, Pine Murphy just got a piece of that and redirected it. There's no doubt that was a trip.
Yeah, pretty obvious penalty there any day of the week. And a massive chance now for the Mustangs to take the lead. So Matt Anderson wins the face-off for the Mustangs. Parker Thomas out wide. Shot comes in. Sebastian Anderson makes the save. To Thomas. Shot was blocked by Joyce. Joyce will just send it from one corner to the opposite corner. And Pine Murphy will wait for support. So Burke. And centre ice trying to find his way through the Melbourne Ice defence. Now McDowell hesitated, decided against shooting. Matt Anderson to Thomas. Traps the puck. To Burke. Now McDowell. Thomas winds up, shoots. Puck spills free. Now McDowell. Burke fires, shoots another pad save there. And that's an open net to play with. Jones just couldn't get the clean shot away.
Wow. That was a good recovery, but if you watch, you're right. I mean, he had almost the whole net. He just couldn't get a handle on it. But right there.
The pass itself by Matt Anderson, we're talking about how much he's improved. That's something a few years I don't think he would have even thought of doing.
And he's playing well. He's playing well and in pencil. Seriously, how do you blow a lead that big, that fast? Ice have got to address their third period issues going forward. Well, we talked about that as well. So you need to win a game, you need to play a whole 60 minutes, and there's no doubt about that.
Although for a commentator, it certainly does add drama when these things happen.
Oh, for sure.
It's certainly interesting for the entertainment value, but it's frustrating for Melbourne Ice fans. And as I mentioned earlier, it gives opposition. They always know in the third period they're still in the game, no matter what the scoreline is. Now Isaacson for the Mustangs to McMahon. Sends that one in the corner. Isaacson. Here's a chance now for the Mustangs. Anderson makes one save. Puck is loose. Puck is still free. Mustangs have it. McMahon shoots. Should have gone high, but went low. Puck is still free. Mustangs should get possession of it, but it's going to be nice. No, Mustangs win it in the end. Through Owens. Now Vyasov. Shoots from a tight angle. Flack just throws himself at it. Couldn't make contact. Anderson gloves it. And how on earth did the Mustangs not score there?
Wow. I mean, again, they just couldn't get a handle on this. Otherwise, it's in for sure.
It's just bodies everywhere.
Look at Melbourne Ice, 5 people right there.
All on top of each other.
That's correct.
That was desperation. We saw at the tweet earlier about the Tars. That was almost rugby, some of that stuff.
follow the bouncing puck, and no one can get a handle on it. Miles Harris go out when the Mustangs are down 3-0. Turn the game in to see Sean Jones, 51, tied at 4-4. Crikey. Well, Miles, anything's possible in this game.
Melbourne Derby, something always happens.
And you know, it's a funny thing because when you go back to how it was in the first period, 3-0, it could have been a blowout, you know? And you did say that anything can happen, and the score line shows it, 4-all. And you know, the funny thing again, it's 2:40 left in the third period, and anything can still happen.
Absolutely, and we got a bit of a delay while they just repaired the pegs down at Anderson's net.
The pegs. Now there you go, my friend.
Timely for the Melbourne Ice, I would think. Chance to catch their breath.
Yep.
But it's the Mustangs who win the face-off, so Burke goes out wide to Parker Thomas, winds up, shoots, and Matt Anderson had another chance, just couldn't trap the puck. So Petrovski, now he's probably going to score a goal out of this, the way this game's gone. Joyce winds up, shoots and goes wide. Kept in by Flanagan. Pine Murphy with the save. Here's a chance now for Burke. Has some time to play with. Shoots. Pat saved by Sebastian Anderson.
Wow.
And then a bit of follow-up as well. There by Darcy Flanagan on Jamie Burke.
Well, what neither team wants now is to take a silly penalty, but let me tell you, Jamie Burke was gone, right? And Christian Anderson makes the save. And what a save it was.
Yeah, how big was that? And
oh, here we go, watch this. Fake slap shot, a little bit of a move, looking for the 5-hole, and it just never happened.
And what we should remind people, because in the AIHL this year, we've moved to a more proper overtime scenario, 3-on-3 for 5 minutes.
That's correct.
Never happened in the Melbourne Derby.
You know, now, I don't know if you saw that, but that was a bit interesting because Darcy cross-checked Jamie Burke into the boards. It's a wonder there wasn't a penalty.
I'm actually surprised there wasn't.
Absolutely.
So we'll actually, it's probably got away with one there, Flanagan. Because as you mentioned, Rod, really neither side can afford to give away centre penalty.
Well, and you know, it goes back to what I said to you many times and to my other co-host, that you do not want to take a stupid penalty at the end of the game. So imagine if Darcy Flanagan had taken a 2-minute minor with 2 minutes left on a 4-all game.
And if they scored a goal, you'd be benching him for a while.
Well.
So face-off won by the Ice. Mustangs have the puck, though. Adam Viasso has been outstanding tonight for the Mustangs. But it's poke-checked away by Graham. Now Petrovski for the Ice to Kinsey Caruana. He's forced out wide looking for Petrovski. Backhanded pass attempt, and he's met heavily by two opponents. Shot comes in, and this could be a penalty coming out.
Watch the...
Caruana got the shot away.
They're calling a penalty.
Both sides, I think, is just struggling to get their emotions in check at the moment. And it's going to be against Isaacson. So Christian Isaacson will head to the penalty box. And you had him lined up. Yeah. So if we saw Petrovski get a couple of minutes for a hit in front of our commentary box, that's not dissimilar. So I think in context of the game, that's a fair call.
Well, you know, again, it goes back to an interpretation thing. And you're right, he lined him up, and there you go. He's sitting in the box.
So Melbourne Ice with the power play. Can they take the lead? Kulcheski. Now Kulcheski. Kulcheski comes in looking for a hat-trick. Kept in now by Graham. Back to Casey Kulcheski. Graham. To the wrong side of him. Tipped there by Petrovski. Now Lazzarotto to Armstrong. Petrovski's also there. Gets the puck. Melbourne Ice just trying to find a way through the Mustangs' defence. Kulcheski was smothered by orange opponents. J.M. Petrosky gets a shot away, and Pine Murphy makes the save with 40 seconds remaining.
Well, they're not going to score on Pine Murphy by shooting at his belly button, that's for sure.
No.
Right? So they need to be a bit more clever and make the goaltender work for the save.
But in terms of setup, the Mustangs look so much, their setups on the power play look so much better.
Very good. I think, again, I was saying in the break that Mustangs probably 95% control in the power play, good setup, but they're not taking the most opportune shots.
So McKenzie got a shot away and off the pads there at Pine Murphy. Melbourne Ice still in control. With less than 25 seconds remaining in regulation. So Powell. McKenzie. Back to Powell in the half wall. McKenzie gets shot away, and I tell you what, I tell you, Melbourne Ice are missing right now, and it'd be very handy on this power play. You just saw it there, the fact that they didn't go to the blue line. Liam Webster would have been very handy right now.
You got the inside scoop. Where would Mr. Webster be?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well, maybe one of our tweeting friends could tell us.
Of course. Or at least the theory thereof. So 4 seconds remaining. So really, Melbourne Ice can only team to win it in regulation from here, but they don't win the face-off cleanly, and we are going to overtime. First time in a Melbourne Derby.
So now the question is, if you're the coach, who are you going to put out?
Well, we're going for 3-on-3 to start off with.
Yep.
I'm just actually really thinking for the Melbourne Ice, you probably would have, I think J.M. Petrosky's been really good tonight. He's got plenty of speed and skill, so I'd probably go for that line.
Who's with him?
Kulcheski, and I would think Kenzie Carano's made a good period. That's gelling. That line will bring a bit of energy. Mustangs, I would say, you're probably going to have Owens, Parker, probably Vyasov. There's plenty of options. I think there's more options there for the Mustangs right now.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Adams out there, though, so I'd go, I would be going Owens, Vadum, Parker maybe, okay? Or Owen, Vadums, and Isaacson, because you probably want to take it to them as quickly as you possibly could.
And of course, with the Olympic-sized ice here, there's going to be plenty of room for both sides to play with. So I expect...
However, Isaacson's not going to be an option because he's in the box.
Not for another 31 seconds anyway. Which means actually Melbourne Ice will start with 4 players because of the penalty.
Yep. So that'll be an enchanting affair too, because Mustangs are exposed. The pace will be fast, obviously. They'll be trying to score like you're doing on a power play anyways. They need to kill the penalty to get back into the game from an even perspective. So really, Mustangs are under the pump, and Ice will try to take advantage of it in the first 30 seconds.
I like how it was meant to be a 3-minute break, but both sides said, we're ready to go, let's do it. You can take as a good sign that both these sides are up for the overtime. Melbourne Ice with the 4 players because they're on the power play. Kulcheski from the face-off to Armstrong. J.M. Petrosky. He stripped the puck. Casey Kulcheski got an awkward bounce. So no time to trap the puck. It's out to Petrosky. And, well, the referee lost sight of that, so it's going to be blown dead. And we'll have another face-off. 15 seconds still remaining on the Isaacson penalty.
So look who's out there for the Mustangs. Vadim Vrjasov, Parker, and McMahon. So I would have played that as well, considering what we're trying to do here.
So Parker Thomas for the Mustangs. Chesky and McMahon. And the Mustangs have managed to kill the penalty. Sebastian Anderson coming well out of his crease. Pass out wide towards Armstrong. Decides to wind up and shoot, but that is straight into the Mustangs logo of Pine Murphy, and we'll have a face-off.
Now let's see who's going to be out there. Owens, Dowell, Isaacson. For those people who aren't really aware of what's going on in relation to the 3-on-3, because Melbourne Ice had a power play, it was 4-on-3, and then Mustangs got a player back on. They play 4-on-4 until they get a whistle and go back to 3-on-3.
And now it's Owens for the Mustangs. Caruana gets a backhanded shot away. Now Lundgren for the Ice. He overskates it and then gets caught up with Tommy Powell. Caruana there in support. Powell gets out towards Caruana. Just cuts in, finds a bit of space, bumped off the puck there by McDowell. And here's a chance now for the Mustangs. Owens. Petrosky made the line change just in time. It was flipped up high. No one could make contact. And now James Petrosky. Just trying to cut his way in. Good work there by Isaacson. Petrosky in support for the Ice. So Petrosky gets a shot away looking for the tip. Puck's loose. Puck is free at the moment. Mustangs get it. To Christian Isaacson. Take the line. Tries to cut in. Gets a shot away, and I think Anderson just got enough of that. To Graham. Out towards Armstrong. Ice will complete their line change, so Powell has it. He's going to cycle back. Just leaves it for Matt Armstrong. So Armstrong comes in, shoots, shot was blocked. Now the Mustangs have it. Through McMahon. So Vadim Vyasov. He'll take the line, tries to cut in himself, so players on both sides just trying to cut into that middle lane wherever they can. So standing up tall there was Kahu Joyce for the Melbourne Ice. Lundgren out towards Powell, couldn't trap it. So he's happy just to make the line change right now.
That was a smart play on his part because he was out of the play when he lost the puck.
So Burke gets a shot away. Anderson makes the pad save. Burke decides to go for the shot himself, and in the end it was a shot that Sebastian Anderson will save 99.9999 times out of 100.
Anderson had that all the way. This is Owen taking a flip pass, trying to get Robertson, but got jammed. Timo, why didn't we change sides? Well, that's a good question. One I can't answer.
One I can't answer either.
But I'll ponder
But
that.
here's a chance for Petrosky for the Ice. Little backhanded shot. Great save by Pine Murphy. That's his save of the game. Isaacson now for the Mustangs. He left it behind. He can get it back. Great work by Casey Kolcheski for the Ice. Gets it out towards J.M. Petrosky. He's going to wait for the trailer. Graham up against Isaacson. Graham keeps his feet looking for Petrosky. Pinched away though by Jordan Owens. So Owens out towards Isaacson. So Isaacson. Pass out towards Thomas, fires, shoots, and a good save there by Anderson. He just charges away and says, look what I got.
Good saves at both ends, but that was a great little play. Hold on to it.
But this is a save by Pine Murphy. This is magnificent.
Yeah. But you know what? Petrosky made that exact same move earlier, okay, on that, so they can't allow him to do that. Don't watch the puck, take the body, and don't let him cut across in front of you.
That seems to be his favourite move.
Well, absolutely, and he's good at it. So
just
you know
over a
what?
minute.
You go back to the video and you watch that a few times and you make sure he never does that again.
Certainly not so easy. So Melbourne Ice from the face-off. Now just under a minute remaining in overtime. Puck sent into the corner. So Powell tied up along the half wall. Thought he may have been held, actually. Now Armstrong. Just happy to concede some territory. Then flips it out towards Lundgren. Lundgren, great work there by Parker Thomas, been turned over. Here's a chance for Burke. Can he finish it off on this occasion? No, he can't! Who blinked first? Well, it was Jamie Burke on that occasion.
Well, I think he got a little bit too clever. And when he got too clever, Christian Anderson set for it, and then he lost the opportunity right there.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the same thing that he did on the break, too. And the interesting thing is, of all the players in this league, Jamie Burke has got a great shot and a very accurate shot, you know?
Yeah, get it in the back of the net. Don't worry about creating goal of the year at times. Too clever by half on that occasion is Burke. Now Kolcheski. He's forced out wide. Handy stick coming in there by Vyasov. So Christian Isaacson has it now. Pass out wide to Jordan Owens. Takes the line, will just drop past there. In fact, it's going to be called, is it going to be offside? No, in fact, that's the end of overtime. So that's...
And I think that's what Mustang's bench was trying to tell him, and so he didn't realize where he was in the clock, which I try to tell people when I coach them too. You need to understand where you are on the clock to know what's going on, and he skated himself out of time.
But for mine, that overtime period was all about two goaltenders.
For sure. Megan Ely, no need to change ends, rules stay. We stay at our home ends for OT. Thank you very much,
I shouldn't
Megan.
be something like that, but I just didn't
And
want to
I
say it.
should have known that. So learn something new every day. Or maybe refresh an older person's mind.
I think we're both getting pretty old, aren't we? Well, at least I'm feeling it when I wake up in the mornings. So now it's shootout time. So this was going to go down to the turkey shoot.
So who do you pick, dude?
As far as the shooters?
Yeah.
I think for Melbourne Ice, Petrosky will be one.
Sure.
In fact, he's going to be one. He's going to be the first shooter. That pretty much explains that. I think that ends that part of the discussion. Probably Powell will be another.
What about Armstrong?
I would think so. Mustangs, Vyasov.
For sure, without a doubt. I'd say Owen's got to be in there, and maybe Isaacson.
So James Petrosky, the first round of the shootout up against Jaden Pine Murphy. Tries a few moves and is denied there by Pine Murphy. I think the lesson to come out of this is try not to be too pretty.
Yeah.
Between Burke and Petrosky.
Well, it was a nice try by Petrosky. He probably got in a bit too close. David Pine Murphy cut off his option and played that well.
And Rod, your new favourite player here, Vadim Vyasov.
Well, he's great on these, mate.
Comes in and is denied
This
himself.
time.
Good goaltending there by Anderson.
There you go. Let me tell you, Vadim Vyasov doesn't miss much on a shootout. So that was a great save, and still Zippo, baby.
It's Casey Kolcheski for the Melbourne Ice. Comes in, shoots, and scores.
That was a great shot. And he's having one whale of a game, isn't he?
Yeah, scored two goals in regulation there. He's got the one in the shootout. Christian Isaacson. Comes in and scores, so it's 1-1 in the shootout.
Well, what do you reckon he said? If you can do it, I can too.
And now Tommy Powell for the Melbourne Ice. Powell up against Pine Murphy. Going for the direct approach, and it's successful as Powell scores.
Sean Jones.
He's had a fairly hot hand today, is Sean Jones.
Yep.
But he must score this one for the Mustangs. So Jones goes out wide, then cuts in. And scores, so we keep going with the shootout. Just forced Anderson out wide. So Matt Armstrong. Will be the next shooter now for the Melbourne Ice. So Armstrong comes in, and Pine Murphy makes the save. Isaacson will go again for the Mustangs. Scores and they win. But is denied by Sebastian Anderson.
Well,
We could be in for a long night, Rod.
maybe, but Mr. How do you say
Kolcheski.
it? Kolcheski. Mr. Kolcheski handles the puck well and has got a pretty good shot.
Kolcheski comes in, and Pine Murphy just gets enough of that one.
Kolcheski, I think he had him, and he just didn't get enough on that to get it up.
So Vadim Vyasov now for the Mustangs. Up against Sebastian Anderson. Comes in, shoots, and Anderson makes the save. We are definitely going to be in for a long night, I think, Rod.
Well. I would have thought Vadim would have tried to deke him on that. That was a good save.
So Powell now for the ice. Tommy Powell. And scores. A little too easy in the end. Undressed Pine Murphy. Now Jordan Owens to keep the Mustangs in it.
Let's see what Mr. Owens can do. That was a nice goal by Mr. Powell.
So Owens comes in. And is denied by Anderson. So the Melbourne Ice claim a shootout victory. 5-4 over the Melbourne Mustangs in what is a big upset here at the O'Brien Icehouse. Melbourne Ice, well, they sacrificed a 2-goal lead in the third period, but they at least managed to steady the ship, and that shootout went into what I think was about 6 or 7 rounds in the end. So they did it the hard way, but it'll do the world of good for the confidence of the Melbourne Ice. The Melbourne Mustangs get points out of this one, importantly for them, so they'll still keep their spot in the top 4.
Yep.
But yeah, for the side's been really struggling like the Ice have, to get a win, even if it's an overtime win, would mean a lot.
Well, I think so. I think it's good for their confidence, and certainly they started the game very, very well. They were up 3-0, and like you said, the good thing about derbies, it can be a very interesting affair, and it was, because we ended up at 4-4. We went into overtime, sudden death, and then we had a shootout. So if you're a paying spectator, you got your money's worth.
Absolutely.
And if you're a Melbourne Ice fan, you're happy because you've left the building with 2 points. If you're a Melbourne Mustangs fan, you're disappointed, but at least you pulled a point out of it, and that's a good thing, all things considered.
So to wrap things up here from the Icehouse, or O'Brien Icehouse, it is a 5-4 win in the shootout to the Melbourne Ice. We'll be back here tomorrow as the Melbourne Ice host the Adelaide Adrenaline, and on Sunday the Mustangs host Adelaide as well. My name's Michael Clough, on behalf of my co-commentator Rod Johns. We hope you enjoyed today's game, and we'll see you next time.
See you, man. Thank you.